What is up, everybody? It is Rust Belt Perspective here. Please go ahead and subscribe to me if you have not already. Today is March 29, 2023, and today we're taking a little break from election analysis. I want to address something else in today's video, and that is going to be the regions of politics in the United States. And before I get into this, I want to make this clear. Like many of my other videos, this is my opinion based on facts. I'm not giving you the dictionary definition here of any of these regions. I am just going by the maps that I see and the maps I'm going to show you today, and why I have things the way they are. So, of course, me being Rust Belt Perspective, I am a Rust Belt person myself, a blue-collar worker. That's the region I'm from. I give you my perspective from the Rust Belt. I'll go ahead and characterize that one first. So as I showed you in one of my very first videos, this map here is my personal favorite of the Rust Belt. You have Milwaukee, part of Wisconsin, the most populated area. You got Chicago, Illinois. You've got Davenport in Iowa. You've got Indiana, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, and New York. I consider these to be the Rust Belt states. And, yeah, so that's what I consider to be the Rust Belt region. I myself am from this region, so go ahead and characterize yellow for the Rust Belt. There are 9 Rust Belt states, and I'll also, to a lesser extent, I will throw Minnesota in there because technically they're kind of not really a part of the Rust Belt according to the map I showed you, but for political purposes, they do vote with the Rust Belt a lot of the time. So I guess it's 10 Rust Belt region states you got. Of course, like Iowa, Ohio, Wisconsin, Michigan, Pennsylvania, all swung together for President Trump in 2016, and then 3 of them swung back to Biden in 2020. It's a very decisive region towards the winner of the presidential elections. So then, another region I refer to a lot, but I really haven't, I guess, elaborated on with you guys a lot, is the Sun Belt region. And this is the map I kind of use for it. With the exception of Kansas, any state that touches this red part, I will consider a part of the Sun Belt. It's like, you call it the Sun Belt because it's in the south where it's sunny. You also have it in the west where it's also sunny. It's the warmer part of the country. It's a part of the country that people are rapidly moving to. There's a lot of swing states down here that have been decisive towards presidential elections and can very much continue to be so in the near and far future. So I'll use purple to characterize those since, like I said, there's a lot of swing states there, and swing states are often characterized as purple states. So, with the exception of Kansas, any state that touched, I will consider a part of the Sun Belt. Of course, most of this region is red. In fact, in 2004, I think George Bush won every single one of these states except for California, who is deep blue. More recently, however, Colorado and New Mexico have become a lot stronger Democratic states. Arizona and Georgia have been going back and forth, flipping Democrat more recently. Florida and Texas and North Carolina are 3 populated states in the Sun Belt that the Republicans have been trying to hold on to. And then the next belt I'm going to talk about is the Corn Belt. Now, they call this the Corn Belt because it's where a lot of the plains are in America, a lot of your farmland here. And as you can see, there is some overlap between the Rust Belt and the Corn Belt. But looking at it, Ohio is, on the Rust Belt map, almost all of Ohio is the Rust Belt. I'm considering that Rust Belt. Same with Michigan. And then Illinois, there is a lot of farmland in Illinois, but Chicago dominates there politically, and they are part of the Rust Belt. Kind of the same with Milwaukee and Wisconsin to a lesser extent. Indiana, you saw was a lot more Rust Belt than it is Sun Belt, especially like the more populated areas of Indiana. So pretty much the way I see it, the Corn Belt almost wraps around the Rust Belt. With North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Kansas, Missouri, and Kentucky these are like some of the bigger farmlands in America, and much like the Rust Belt, these are farmers. They are like hardworking people, but you're just like they're less of your industrial workers and more of your farmers. So all of these states happen to be very much Republican. None of them are really competitive for the Democrats. Although ironically, both Kansas and Kentucky have incumbent Democratic governors at the moment, but the governorships are different on the federal level, as I talked about before. So those are kind of like the three main belts of America, in my opinion. So you kind of see what's left over. The Northeast, this happens to be a very Democratic region. Every single one of these states is a Democratic-leaning state, or even just a solid Democratic state in general, like most of these states are. So you got 10 of those states in the Northeast that don't really fall into a belt, at least in my opinion. And then you got a few states hanging out in the Northwest, plus Alaska and Hawaii, that I'll call the Northwest here. Of course, Hawaii, Washington, Oregon, very much Democratic. Alaska, Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, way less populated, but they are also very much Republican. So yeah, I've gotten a lot of comments asking, like, hey, this state should be a part of this region, or hey, what region do you think this state's in? So I just kind of wanted to give you my opinion on that. And again, this is my opinion based on facts. I've shown you the maps. I've given you my reasoning. I've given you the significance of the regions. So if you disagree with me, that is perfectly fine. I have no problem with that. I'm not trying to set the dictionary definition here or tell anyone they're wrong. I just want to give you guys my perspective and what I'm talking about when I refer to a certain regions, especially the Rust Belt or the Sun Belt or any of the other regions. So yeah, that's pretty much all I've got for today. Feel free to comment down below what you guys think. Again, please subscribe. Feel free to join my Discord server. I really appreciate all the growing support I have gotten. This is Rust Belt Perspective, signing out.